hard-fought win for those guys. I thought they really played well. Dix, Perkins, and Sanford, especially, I thought those three guys were tremendous. And Cricky in the second half was really good. Was really proud of our fight. We're not in the moral victory business with our program. Our mentality now is we figure it out with who you got. So, injuries, no injuries, who's playing, who's not playing. I mean, everyone knows, you're missing 3 starters out there, but, for our guys to be down 11 in the second half, and, I thought we were pretty fatigued. I took a timeout at that point. I thought we were pretty fatigued, and we kind of just rallied around each other, and we said, well, let's one possession at a time. Let's try to get back in this thing. And we really fought hard to cut it to, I think, 2 there. And then we just had some breakdowns, at inopportune times. I think we had three or 4 really just critical defensive breakdowns. And, right now for us, our margin, for error is slimmer, of course. So, to give up 51 in the second half is not going to be really a great recipe, for us going forward. So, we'll figure it out. Like we're going to keep our spirits up. Like I think we've shown. I mean, guys, look at what our team has done here this week. I think we've shown going on the road, winning at Maryland, with a couple guys out, playing today, having a couple guys out, then losing Matt. Our guys are going to fight, and we can still be good. We just have to, we have to just dig down and find a way. That's what we're going to do. We're at the last week of the regular season. We have a lot of wins. We're in a good position in the standings in the conference. And, obviously we would have loved to win both this week, right? I mean, that would have been unbelievable kind of considering the adversity. But honestly, for me and you're greedy to get it, but to say, man, we were able to get a split, kind of out of these 2 games. And now we got to get our rest, get our treatment. I mean, you can see, Boo plays the whole game pretty much. Nick plays the whole game. Brooks plays the whole game, and they play so hard. We got to really rest. We got to recover and get ourselves ready for another, Big Ten battle on Wednesday night.
Coach, do you have any update on Matthew Nicholson, who left the game, as well as Ryan Langborg?
Yeah, Ryan's really close. I think, Ryan wants to be out there, for sure. And we just felt like everybody talking, medical team, coaches, Ryan, kind of the way he's feeling. Like today wasn't the day to push it, and just if it was an NCAA game or, a game of that magnitude, could he have gone out there and played at less than 100%? Probably, but it just wasn't the right decision. Everybody was in agreement that let's take a few more days. He's made amazing progress the last 3 days in particular, and now if we get 3 more days, I think everybody was in agreement, that was the right thing to do, even though we missed him. You would have loved to have him out there, but Matt, we'll find out. I'm not in the speculation business. He injured his foot there when he landed, and we'll get all the imaging and the testing and our medical team. I mean, we got the best of the best, and we'll kind of give you guys an update once we figure out his status going forward.
Coach, with Iowa moving down the court at a fast pace, how did that affect the defense, especially in the second half?
Yeah, well, that's how they play, right? They play fast, they push the ball. I thought there were stretches of the game where we got a little fatigued by it. I tried to use my timeouts kind of during that stretch. But they're a fast-paced team. They do a great job of what they do. Their motion offense is hard to guard. They have really skilled guys that can all shoot, handle, pass, have pretty good size. So there's a reason why they average, 80-something a game, right? So, they present a lot of problems. You got to be really locked in defensively. I was just really proud when we got down 11. I thought that was a real breaking point. We were a little bit tired. I think it was either 48-37 maybe or 58-47. I know they were up 11, and I called a timeout. And, true to form with our guys, we just said we're going to fight back. We're going we're going to find a way to get some stops. We're going to keep pushing offensively. And, I thought a lot of guys stepped up. Another really positive performance from Blake Smith, to come out. I think he's getting more comfortable. I was great to see him step up and knock down an open three. He had some really good drives. And, obviously right now there's a lot on Nick, Boo, and Brooks, to produce offensively. But we're going to have to find a way, with our big guys, whether Matt can go or not, with Luke and Blake. We're going to have to find a way to see how we can get those guys involved a little bit more, and they're going to have to step up. If Matt's going to be out, Jordan Clayton, Justin Mullins, I told the guys after the game, like, everybody's got to lock in right now. And nobody wants, there's no sob stories from anybody about injuries and all that. And we don't. We're not an excuse-making program. We're gonna figure it out. And I promise that our guys are gonna keep fighting like they did. I mean, our guys fought, man. What are you gonna say? I mean, our guys fought their tails off today. Are you kidding me? To work ourselves back in that game and appreciate the energy of the crowd, kind of helping us get back into that thing, and that's what we're going to keep doing, because that's the character of our guys, and we'll figure it out. We'll figure out what we need to do to be successful going forward here the rest of the way.
Coach, what were your thoughts on running back out from the halftime locker room and seeing that number 30 jersey up in the banners?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I love Billy. I've known Billy for a long, long time, since I've been 13 years old, and our relationship has only grown that much more since I've become the coach here. And to see his love for this place, and I've said for you guys, I mean, there was no question who the first should have been. And that was Billy, what he's meant to this program, what he represents, the kind of person he is, the career he had on the floor, off the floor. There's no better. Like, I would love for every single guy in our program to have the characteristics of Billy. And it's been awesome to have him doing the radio. He's on all our trips, right? So he spends a lot of time with the guys in the meal room, on the buses, the planes, things of that nature. And he's been a great mentor to those guys, and means a lot to us, means a lot to me, and I'm really happy for him and his family. Long overdue, in my opinion. I've been pushing for this, pretty much since year one, because I love when people honor the great history of programs, and hopefully now that we've been able to do Billy, it can lead to more in other sports, as well as our program too.
Coach, you've talked a few times about the workload given to Boo, Brooks, and Nick. Boo kind of came into the season expecting to be at that level. Brooks and Nick maybe less so. What have the conversations with those guys been like as their workload has increased and increased? Yeah,
well, I've never really met a player that wants to come out of a game. Players want to play. They want to play the whole game. So it's just the challenge for us now, and you get to this part of the season, is we have to be really smart in between games. How much are we practicing these guys? How much are they on their feet? Because the reality is, guys, where we are right now, and Ryan will be coming back and hopefully on Wednesday night, but those guys are going to log minutes. They want to, but so now it's about us as coaches being smart about that, and then for them to be really diligent about their recovery and their rest in between the games. But conversations are, Coach, I want to play. Like, don't take me out. So that's what the conversations are with those guys. They're warriors. They're competitors, man. They don't want to come out. So and that's why I would love to be able to give them more breaks and all that. But the reality is of our situation right now, like we need those guys on the floor to give ourselves a chance.
Down the stretch there, they had some end of shot clock opportunities. Iowa did, and it kind of resulted in some buckets that ended your run, took away some momentum. Can you talk about what you saw from your vantage point, whether better shot making or just some lackluster defense?
I thought we had some breakdowns. I don't want to diminish. I thought Dix hit some tough shots. I actually thought Cricky too hit a couple tough kind of turnaround. But there were kind of three in particular that I was, we didn't do a great job. It was a late clock ball screen, and Freeman rolled to the basket. Our rotation was late. We didn't get over. He was able to get a layup. The next possession down, I thought we had a pretty good possession. We had Sanford down in the corner on the baseline, and he drove baseline, and we didn't get rotation help, and he was able to get a 3-point play. And then the last one is when Perkins found McCaffrey for the three. They were isolating three guys on one side. Sanford was on one corner, And you got to stay on Peyton. I mean, he's such a good shooter. And we didn't do a good enough job communicating and getting that ball back to our help. So those were three things. So that being said, I thought those were three kind of critical errors on our part when it mattered most. But then guys still have to make shots, and give them credit. I mean, those guys are really good players. I mean, I've been a big fan. I mean, I'll be the first one this last month of the season, the improvement of Josh Dix. He's a terrific player. Really got good size, good shooter in the mid-range. I thought he hit some tough mid-range shots, and then he goes 4 for 5 from 3, which he hadn't been doing as much of that. And then, Perkins is just kind of a bulldog type of guy. He's tough, he's competitive, does a little bit of everything that his team needs to win. So they have a good team. They're getting better. Obviously, Franny's an awesome coach and does a great job, and this would have been a really good win if we could do it. And we're gonna have to iron out, our like I keep saying, our margin for error now is slimmer. So when you have a lot more firepower and potency offensively, maybe you can get away with some mistakes at times. Not now. We got to dial in. If teams beat us, they got to beat us, taking tough shots, making and not us giving up layups and having breakdowns at the end of the clocks.
Time for 2 more questions, Matt. Coach, you talked about that timeout you called down 11 where the team kind of recommitted to each other. Was that a sentiment that you kind of brought to the huddle? Did that come from players' assistants? What was kind of
Yeah, I just think everybody. I mean, we were a little tired. They hit us with that burst. They were up 11. I think it was a collective. Everyone's got a voice. So it was like, hey, now we got to it was a little bit of a time period in the game where we really needed to work our way back in. We needed to get some stops. We needed to have some good offensive possessions. And it was just like, hey, guys, we're going to fight back in. Right? We just all kept saying there was still 12 minutes left. And so what we said was it's a long game, but if we keep kind of defending like this, we're not going to be able to get ourselves back in the game. We're going to have to get some stops and then hopefully trigger that into some baskets on the other end.
Coach, you guys found a way to get a win undermanned at Maryland. You battled to the end tonight. How does this week as a whole really speak to the resilience of this program?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows the character of our group. I mean, and we even said it in the locker room, like, we're going to pray for the best for Matt, and hopefully he's going to be able to help us coming back forward, in this last week. We'll see how that goes, but, like, we're going to fight. I mean, I don't think there's any question, and sometimes you come up a little short, guys. I mean, that's part of sports. It stinks. We got beat today. We got beat by a team that played a little bit better than we did. And but when it comes to fight and resiliency and guys stepping up and being ready when called upon, I couldn't be prouder of our group. And that's why I know, as we go forward, we still feel, we're good enough to win. That's kind of the way we're talking. Like we still feel we have enough. We just kind of have to figure it out with our pieces that we have. How do we still win with what we have? And that's what we're going to do over the next week. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Boo and Brooks, great questions for these guys. Bradley?
Boo, we saw your kind of left wrist get injured in the second half. First of all, how is that feeling for you? And second, how do you think your ability to still dribble and play with your left hand kind of indicates things moving forward?
Yeah, it's fine. I feel fine. I was able to shake it off, come back. Yeah, it's fine.
I guess for either of you, with Iowa moving down the court at a fast pace, how did that affect the defense, especially in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're like, one of the top offenses that we've definitely seen this year. And I think in the Big Ten, I think they probably are like, top whatever, and how they play in their pace. But I feel like there was like segments where we would do a decent job, but the thing that I feel like we kind of just maybe got a little mentally weak a little bit, or maybe let the tiredness kind of affect us because they play that way 40 minutes. And you can't play, 30 minutes of solid transition defense because at 10 minutes, they're going to kick your tail. And, that's what kind of like happened. And we got a 7-point lead and we played tired and then we lost the lead. They scored 8 straight in 3 possessions. So it's the small things like that win games, and we didn't do that tonight.
Over the past few games, the injury bug has definitely bitten the team. What are the conversations like in the locker room about just who steps up and where the team goes from here?
Yeah, I think, it's – it doesn't matter who's out there and who's available, but the standard is winning. Whether it be, 3 walk-ons and, 2 guys that haven't played all year, if they're on the court at the same time, then, our standard is still winning, regardless if X plays, Y plays. Like, that's our standard, and we can't really use that as an excuse because that does happen to everybody. And then, yes, it's unfortunate that we got a couple guys out, but our standard is winning, and we have to figure it out. We're not going to sit here and say that, we're missing, so-and-so. We have to still win. That's what our standard is, and we have to keep doing it, so we got to figure it out.
You guys have talked about Matt's really important presence down low on both ends of the court. What about him, especially when he went down tonight, makes him so hard to replace?
I just think that, Matt does a good job of protecting our paint, his voice as well. He talks a bunch, and he really directs some traffic on the defensive end, and he just helps us out on the glass, obviously. There's not that many people that are 7 foot and capable of doing what he's doing. So it was unfortunate when he went down, but like Brooks said, we've had guys go down. This is the third or fourth game now without Ty and Ryan. Well, second game without Ryan, but it's just the mentality. It doesn't matter who's out there. We're gonna have to step up. Everyone was given a scholarship to come here and play. So with that being said, everybody is believed in. I know if you're on the court with me, I believe in you. I'm gonna let you know I believe in you. Even if you don't really believe in yourself that much, I'm still gonna believe in you and try to make you believe in yourself more. But yeah, I mean, we have enough to win, so no excuses.
All right. Boo, you got off to a really hot start. You obviously were fantastic down the stretch too, but there was a pretty long period in the middle of the game where you weren't scoring or even taking many shots. Was that something Iowa was doing, or was that your approach to the game, or what was going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit of both. They really changed up their game plan. I felt like anytime I tried to drive, they were either sending two or just very loading it up or even doubling at times. And so I was just trying to make the right play, the right pass, and if that calls for me not shooting, but we're still scoring and winning, and that's what it's all about. Just making the right play. If they're trying to take me away, giving it up, we got talented guys who can go make plays. So it's just all about trusting and believing. So that's what that stretch was.
Time for 2 more questions, Matt. Coach talked about taking a timeout when the team fell behind 11. The team kind of recommitted to each other during that break. What was the mentality like during that timeout, and how much of that comes from you guys as leaders of the team?
I think the message in that timeout was just we got to figure it out. They kind of hit us to the mouth, so it was really how are we going to respond? Are we going to lay over? Are we going to make it a game and try to get back in it and try to go in the game? And we did that. And Coach had talked to us after the game, there are no more victories, but you did show something there, but it still wasn't enough. We still got to do one thing, better. Everybody's got to be 1% better on every play, just to instead of being down, cutting the lead from 11-2, we get the lead and then finish the ball game with the lead and get the win. So I think a lot of that does come from us, but it also just comes from our culture. That's our culture and that's our standard, and I don't think a lot of people really think that about us, but it is our culture and it is our standard.
Last question, Caleb.
For either of you, you've talked about the injuries, but more so if you focus on the Ryan one, somebody that's expected to come back soon. What have you seen different with him being out? You had so many games to finally get accustomed to him playing, and you had that shooter, another scorer. How's it been different these 2 games, and then that adjustment so far without him? Yeah,
I mean, it's just different when you take away the amount of points and how we were getting the points. He shoots a lot of threes, and he can also shoot mid range and get all the way to the basket. He creates for others. So just now having with Nick and Blake out there, we're bigger. But those guys, they like to drive the ball a little bit more. So, now we're getting more paints in the point opposed to, that shooting that we were getting from Ryan. But like we keep saying, man, there's no excuses. Blake and Nick are one, they're really good players, and, they do a really good job of, doing what they're doing, and we will be able to win games, So I would just say his shooting.
All right, that'll wrap us up. Thank you.